It was a crisp autumn morning when Sarah James first laid eyes on the three wild horses, their once majestic coats now matted and dull from years of hardship. She had always been an animal lover, volunteering at shelters and caring for stray animals, but nothing could have prepared her for what she found one fateful day while driving through the remote hills of Wyoming. The horses had been abandoned, left to roam the barren land with no food or shelter. They were weak and exhausted, their ribs showing beneath their coats, and their eyes hollow from years of surviving on their own. Sarah, who had been working as a veterinarian, knew instantly that they wouldn't survive much longer in their current condition. But she also knew that she couldn't just walk away. She had to help them. She spent the next few days devising a plan, calling in favors from local ranchers and animal welfare groups, and preparing her small farm for their arrival. When the day finally came, Sarah set out to rescue the horses. It wasn't easy. They were wild, frightened, and unsure of humans, but Sarah's patience and gentle demeanor won them over. After hours of careful coaxing and perseverance, she managed to load all three horses into the trailer and drive them back to her farm. At first, they were skittish, refusing to eat or approach Sarah. But over time, with the right care and compassion, the horses slowly began to trust her. She named them Dusty, Thunder, and Willow. Dusty, the smallest of the three, was a gray mare with a stubborn streak. Thunder, a tall, powerful stallion, was a bit more reserved but quickly formed a bond with Sarah. Willow, the youngest, was a wild spirit, always running through the fields with the wind in her mane. Years passed, and Sarah devoted her life to restoring the horses' health, ensuring they had everything they needed to thrive. Dusty became Sarah's closest companion, often following her around the farm like a loyal dog. Thunder, with his majestic build, became a symbol of strength, and Willow's playful energy was a source of constant joy. Sarah couldn't imagine her life without them. They were no longer just rescue animals, they were her family. One crisp morning, nearly 7 years after she first rescued them, something extraordinary happened. Sarah was walking out to the barn when she heard a familiar sound, a deep, resonant whinny. She froze, her heart skipping a beat. It was Thunder's voice, but something was different. The sound was coming from outside the barn, not from the stable where he normally rested. Confused, Sarah stepped outside and was stunned by what she saw. Standing just a few feet away, on the edge of the woods, was Thunder. But he wasn't alone. Beside him was Dusty, looking strong and healthy, and Willow, her mane shining in the morning sun. The three horses stood in a line, their eyes fixed on Sarah with a knowing gaze. For a moment, Sarah could only stand there, her breath caught in her throat. Then the unthinkable happened. With a sudden, synchronized movement, the three horses took off running toward her. Their hooves pounded the earth, sending a cloud of dust into the air as they galloped with a power and grace Sarah had never seen before. She stood frozen, her heart racing, unsure of what was happening. As the horses reached her, they skidded to a stop, each one gently nuzzling her face as if greeting an old friend. It was a reunion, but a reunion that left Sarah speechless. These were not the same frightened, malnourished creatures she had rescued all those years ago. They were strong, confident, and healthy, no longer the wild horses she had saved, but creatures who had found their way back to her in the most extraordinary way. Tears filled Sarah's eyes as she realized what had happened. It wasn't just a chance encounter or a coincidence. The horses had come back to her, to the place they once called home. They had come to show her that, after all these years, they still remembered her, still trusted her, and still cared for her. They had returned not as the broken animals she had saved, but as the wild, powerful creatures they had always been meant to be. As Sarah stood there in awe, she knew one thing for certain. The bond she had with these horses was unbreakable. They weren't just animals she had rescued. They were a part of her heart, her family. And in that moment, as they stood together in the sun, Sarah understood that sometimes, the creatures we help have a way of surprising us in the most unbelievable ways. The horses, once abandoned and broken, had come back to say thank you. And in doing so, they reminded her that love, trust, and friendship know no boundaries, not even the wildest of hearts. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe for more interesting videos. Like and share this video. Have a nice day.